A 2-1 buy-down strategy is marketed heavily as a way to lower payments for a homebuyer since interest rates have jumped up. It can help sellers market their property and attract a buyer. It can help a buyer with lower payments in the first 1, 2, or 3 years of the loan. However, it comes with a cost, and it's important to understand that impact and decide for yourself if the strategy makes sense to you compared to how those same funds can be utilized another way. I'm Clay Selland from Signet Mortgage, and for the next few minutes, I will cover the good and the bad with the buy-down strategy. A 2-1 buy-down means that someone prepays the interest on a loan transaction with the payment calculated as if the rate was 2% lower for the first year and 1% lower for the second year. Let's take an example with a $750,000 purchase and a $600,000 loan. The difference in calculated interest is about $15,000. To a buyer, it appears very attractive because in the case of a 2-1 buy-down, the payment is calculated as if the interest rate was that 2 points lower than the actual note rate for the first year and 1% lower than the note rate for the second year. The loan payment reverts to the full note rate after year 2. Sounds really good so far. In our example, the monthly payment savings for the first year is over $700 and almost $400 in the second year. However, remember that somebody pays. Let's look at that a little bit closer. Let's say the seller covers the cost by offering a credit towards closing costs. The net to the seller is lower by that same credit. All other things being equal, you would expect the seller to be willing to lower the purchase price by a corresponding amount. The buyer gets lower payments for year one and year 2. The buyer paid more for the home than the seller would have been willing to accept. That same credit from the seller could be used to lower the purchase price or do a permanent buy down of the interest rate. There is one instance where you might as well take the buy down. Home builders are particularly interested in the buy down because the published sale price of the home they have for sale appears higher because they do not have to show the big credits in the contract that are offered to the buyer. It's a way to offer a discount to the buyer that does not impact the list price of the home. That is also why builders toss in free upgrades and stuff like that. So the buyer covers that cost? Well, that's just silly because the extra closing cost to cover the interest in year 1 or 2 is simply prepaid interest and would be better off leaving that money in your savings account to cover the extra payments in years 1 and 2. There is no benefit to qualifying for the loan, as qualifying for the loan is based on the fully amortized payment, not the reduced payments in the first and second year. Let's look at alternatives a buyer can use that seller credit. Using the same dollars as a price reduction, that would save a small amount on property taxes forever and the basis of the home would be less. Also, the down payment and loan could be smaller and the monthly payment reduced by a corresponding amount. Better yet, use the same dollars to pay points and buy down the rate for the entire term of the loan. The benefit is only for the time period the buyer expects to hold the loan, but can still be very valuable. The permanent buy down is a big deal. In our example, the rate would be 0.625% lower if the funds were used to permanently buy down the rate. Compare this. Do you want to permanently lower your payment by about $578 in our example, or $700 for year 1 and $400 in year 2, and then it reverts back to the higher amount? One more benefit. If you're on the edge qualifying, this permanent buy down could be the difference between getting your loan approved and not. I would not jump on the bandwagon to get a 2-1 buy down or even a 3-2-1 buy down I heard advertised by one of our wholesale lenders today. A seller can aggressively market their home by offering a 2-1 buy down. It certainly can look attractive to a buyer with a payment lower and at a less cost to the seller when compared to lowering the purchase price to get that same benefit in payment. As a buyer, if you are buying a home from a builder, they are not likely to be flexible on the price of the home, but you can negotiate credits that may have a similar effect. Then you have to decide how to use the credit. 2-1 buy down of the payment temporarily or permanent reduction in the interest rate. If you're buying from a private party, you have those same choices. Sometimes an offer sounds more attractive to a seller if it's a full price offer and you ask for a credit that you can be used for a temporary or permanent buy down in the interest rate. Alternatively, you could just negotiate a reduction in the purchase price of the home. Keep in mind that you have to qualify on the full payment anyhow, so a temporary buy down does not help you qualify as a permanent buy down could indeed help. All the hype around a 2-1 buy down is a sales tactic. you would need to work with someone who gives you a real apple-to-apples comparison so you can make the best choice for you and your family for the long term. If there's anything I can do to help you understand and leverage a buy-down strategy, please give me a call. My contact information is listed below. I look forward to working with you and helping you get your home. Take care.